Hello everyone, this is Ethos Eats. I'm your host Sue Noyes, Holistic Health Coach. Today we're going to resurrect an appliance maybe that you haven't used in a while, which is your crock pot or slow cooker. This is a great device for our busy lives now because you can just stick something to cook in the morning and it is ready when you get home, which is so wonderful. We're going to make a quinoa bean chili today. And what's so great about this is a way to get those vegetarian meals into your normal everyday life in an easy and great way. Quinoa is a grain that was developed by the ancient Incas, and it is extremely high in protein, has about 6 grams of protein in a half cup serving. And what's so wonderful about it is it has all of the 8 essential amino acids, so it has the complete range of protein in it. So this is a great way to get some more protein in your diet. So what we're going to do is we're going to do it the lazy girls way. A lot of crock pot recipes, they tell you to saute vegetables first, then add them into the bottom of the crock pot. I skip that completely. The way I do it is I just turn my crock pot to high, and as that's heating, I'm going to add in a tablespoon of olive oil, just in the bottom there. And then as I chop my vegetables, I'm just going to dump them in there. And so they're going to get a little pre-cooking just by being in the crock pot at the high temperature. So that was 1 tablespoon of olive oil. Then I took a small onion and chopped it, so I'm going to add that in there. Next, I'm going to take, this is a half of a green pepper and a half of a red pepper, and the reason why we do that is just for color. And I chopped it up. And by the way, it's very important to buy organic peppers and celery because they are very highly pesticided produce items. So make sure they're organic. So I'm just going to stick that in there. Next, this is just 1 stalk of celery chopped. So then I'm going to stir that kind of all around and let that kind of start to cook as I get my act together on the other ingredients. So that's just going to cook for a couple seconds while I do everything else. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to take a whole combination of spices that's going to be wonderful and delicious when we're through. It's basically 2 teaspoons of coriander, 1 teaspoon each of cumin, paprika, and basil, half a teaspoon of thyme, a half a teaspoon of marjoram, a bay leaf, and then some cayenne pepper. Cayenne pepper, it's your choice how much you put in. I put like 1/8 of a teaspoon in because I'm a sissy. But if you like the heat, bring it on. Put as much as you want. So what we're going to do is, now that these cooked a little bit, I'm just going to add the spices in to the vegetables there. So stir it around. There's really no rules. And next, I'm going to start adding in all the other ingredients. I'm going to take a can of tomato sauce. I'm just going to dump that in there. And then I'm going to take 2 cups of water. I'm going to just dump that in there. And next, I'm going to take my beans, which beans are a dieter's best friend because they have so much protein, fiber, they really clean out your system, and they don't get absorbed as calories because they have resistant starch. So only part of the calories in a bean is actually going to be used in your body. The rest is going to pass through. So it's really a wonderful food. So this is, I chose black beans and pinto beans just because of the color. And all you do when you use canned beans, just make sure you rinse them and really well to get all the extra sodium off there. So I'm just going to dump that in there. And next, I'm going to take my quinoa, which is a half a cup of quinoa, and I again rinsed it because the grains are kept in silos and so they can get debris, so you want to just rinse it before you put it into a recipe. And you need a fine mesh strainer. So we're going to just put all of that in there. And then just going to stir it around. Next, I'm just going to turn this back down to low, put the lid on, and and let it cook for 6 hours. So you go have fun, do whatever you need to do in 6 hours. And if you know you're going to be longer than 6 hours in your workday, which a lot of us are, you can do this the night before, put it in the refrigerator so that it gets cold, and then in the morning you can put it in your crock pot, turn it to low, and it will extend the cooking time by 2 hours. But on something like chili, you don't even have to worry so much about the exact time. If you go a little over, it's not going to do any damage to the ultimate result. So let that cook, and when it's all done, the last thing, oh, I just remembered, I forgot one thing, and that is to add in a piece of something called kombu. It is a seaweed, and the reason why I'm going to just throw that in to the pot and let that in there to cook is because it acts to help make the beans more digestible in your system, and when beans digest better, you have less gas. So just let that cook in there, and then when you're going to go serve, you just can take it out. You don't have to eat it. Okay, so you let it cook for 6 hours. At the very end, when you're ready to eat, all you're going to do is you're going to take a tablespoon of Bragg's amino acids, or you could use soy sauce, and then take a tablespoon of molasses. And those are the finishing ingredients that are going to make this taste really great. So just stir those in there at the very, very, very end, just before you're ready to eat. And that is it. And so this is what the finished product looks like. And it is ready when you come home, and it is so nutritious and not to be trite, but delicious. So thanks for joining me today for Ethos Eats. Again, I'm your host, Sue Noyes. See you next time.